I know y'all see it. It's T-Fal time. Grab your balls. We are about to can. So the first thing that I'm going to can today is brisket. I got a brisket from Kroger. And no, this is not the whole brisket. The whole brisket was like this big. And they were $1.99 a pound. I bought this brisket for $20, y'all. I cut it up in threes, and since this is going to be my first time canning brisket, I did not want to can the whole brisket. I want to just test the waters to see how this thing is going to turn out. I'm going to trim the fat off of it, and guess what? I got my T-Fal book out because I hadn't canned anything since, it's been some months now. It's been some months since I canned. And it's always good to have a refresher course. Let's get started. Since it's been a while, use my T-Fal, I'm going to test it out. I think it's a good idea to test it out just to make sure that everything is working properly, that my seal is good, that I'm not gonna have any issues with that, because the last thing I wanna do is get all this brisket in here and it's leaking, or I don't get a proper seal. So let's just run it around the block one time, see what's going on. The first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that our canner is clean. I've already cleaned my canner. I've checked all of the little holes on the inside. I am going to take vent knob, look through that. Of course, there's nothing in it because it's clean. Look through my hole that's on my lid. Nothing's in that because of course it's clean. Put it back on. Put me some water in here. And in the meantime, I'm gonna trim the fat off of this brisket, cut it up into nice chunks, and fill our jars. You want to trim the majority of that fat off. When you're grilling a brisket, it's good to have the fat on there, but when you are canning a brisket, don't want all that fat on it. This fat can be used to incorporate into my meat when I grind it up for hamburgers. Now let's start cubing. You don't want your pieces of meat to be too big. You want them to be nice in proportion. So that's a good size chunk. I'm gonna cut the rest of this up and we'll come back and check on our dry run of our canner and start canning our meat. Okay, so the T-Fal tested out perfectly. Let's do a raw pack. Got 4 jars. It may not take 4 jars. Inch head space. Now let's add 1/4 teaspoon of aminos. It's gonna take the place of our salt. Oh, I got it all ready. 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Wipe our rims with vinegar. Get the grease, any grease or residue off. Now let's get our lids, rings. I'm using tattlers. Tat, tat, tat it up, tat it up. Put it on. Take my rubber gasket, put it on there. And remember, this is special. So we're gonna put our finger there, and that's it. Once again, hold one finger on it, turn it. Once that's tightened with our finger, that's it. We'll tighten them down later when they come out. Now, I took the hot water out of here and I put cold water in here because this is a raw pack. Put a lid on. These are paint jars, so we're going to do a processing for 75 minutes. My elevation will set on number 2. So let's crank the heat up. Get it going until we get a steady steam. Turn the timer on 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, turn our setting on 2. Okay, we're at the end of our processing time. Release the valve. Just letting the rest of the pressure go out. We're already at 0.
The one and only Kingdom Man, neighborhood black man. Everything good.
Hello, it's the next morning, and guess what? We did it. 3 jars of brisket. Happy canning.